Hello, beautiful soul. Hello, hello, hello. So excited to be here and to share this medicine with you today. I'm just going to give a moment here as people jump on, as sisters jump on. And if you are here live, please let me know that you're here in the comments. I've been having some issues with my live streams lately, so I'm just gonna bring this up. So I'm being guided to share this, excuse me, I've been going through throat healing for the last few days. Yeah. All right, so I want to talk with you today. I want to speak about organic abundance and what happens when you attune to the frequency and you connect it with your mission. So organic abundance is a different frequency than when we just talk about abundance in general or manifestation, right? True sovereign God creation with the organic abundance codes and frequencies is a co-creation and a partnership with God. Your abundance in every area of your life, it's not just money, but it's also opportunities and experiences and healing and provision. All of this arrives when you are in deep devotion and connection with God's source and you're allowing God to provide for you. When you're actually open to receiving God's provision in all of these different ways, and when you begin to attune to the frequency and seen through the lens of organic abundance. So for many of you who are in this space with me, you're here because you have a mission, right? You're being called deeper into your leadership. You know that you came here to live your purpose, to live your mission, and to create new realities, right? So when you are tuning into that and birthing that, what is required is provision in many different ways. Because creating a new earth reality, creating heaven on earth, birthing heaven on earth is a part of your sovereign creation. And honoring who you are becoming in the process of that. And finding self-acceptance throughout the many different seasons of that partnership with God, of moving in and out and being in the flow with God around your abundance and trusting in the provision, that the provision will come in. You know, it's just like money. Money moves in, money moves out. But abundance is always available to you. And anything that tells you otherwise is part of the false illusion. And so if you ever are feeling cut off from receiving provision, it's important that you check in to your heart connection with God's source and what you are receiving and how your relationship is and like what's going on in your field, what needs tending to. Is there a belief or is there something else that's running like a program that is not actually connected to your organic abundance stream? because your organic abundance stream is going to be flowing when you are in full service and devotion to God, and you're checking in with God on a regular basis of how can I serve, what am I being guided to do, and you're leading from your heart and your womb rather than from your mind and from your ego. So surrendering to God's divine will for your life and building your life on that foundation is the greatest thing that you can do in order to receive that provision, and healing your relationship with God and allowing God to provide for you. And this will increase your capacity to be able to receive more, and also asking God to show you where you may be receiving information that isn't accurate, that's coming from a program. Because we live on a planet where scarcity and lack is a lie that has been programmed into the consciousness of humanity, and we have been accepting it for a very long time, and it's ancestral and it's in our DNA, and we're programmed to believe that there isn't enough. But God's source is eternal, and the provision is limitless and eternal. And once you can begin to really tap into that, you're going to be able to strengthen that. But it comes back to coming into this path of highest service over and over and over again, and continuously coming back to the highest path of service, because that's how your organic abundance will come in, and it won't be in a way that feels misaligned. The provision will be coming in through all different ways. God works in mysterious ways. And so when you are attuned to your organic abundance stream, what begins to happen is that think of yourself as like you just caught a wave and you're riding that wave, and you learn how to ride that wave, and then you continue to, and then the next wave comes and you ride that wave, and you aren't freaking out if the wave slows down, and you're not freaking out if the wave speeds up. You can hold it all. You can hold it when you're receiving a lot of abundance and provision and miracles and all these things, and you can also hold it when things are integrating, you're slowing down. And because you trust in the flow of your abundance. Yeah. So if you're here live, please say hello. I'd love to know who's here. How is this landing for you? I'm going to check, because nothing's coming up on my phone. So I'm just going to check the comments for a moment here, because I love to interact with you guys, and sometimes Facebook doesn't like that. Hi, sister. Blessings. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you for being here. Yeah. So, okay. So, if you can get on board with the deep knowing that organic abundance is a part of your birthright, and that organic abundance is actually part of your mission map, and that you serving your mission and being in service to God and fulfilling your purpose is actually what's going to bring in more abundance, then you step onto that path and it just begins to come in. But it's good to kind of clean up your energy and notice where maybe you're not fully connected to that vision, to that purpose. Maybe there's like some energetic debris going on, or some false beliefs, or some things where there's stories around like, oh, that doesn't happen to me, and my abundance doesn't come in. Like, these are the things that you want to start to clear and really come into your power more, because when you're in your power and you are attuning into your mission, to your vision, to your purpose, to God, to your higher self, when you're attuning into the frequencies that are actually aligning you to your highest path, that comes in through devotion to divine will, to constantly being like, okay, God, please guide me in right alignment and right action in accordance to your divine will. When you're saying that and you open yourself up, the abundance is going to come in. it's just a natural byproduct. It's a natural byproduct when you are living your mission and you're in service to that, and you are open to growing in your mission, and you're open to the challenges, and you can adapt with the adversity of that. God wants you to succeed. God wants to provide for you. God wants you to have everything that you need. But you have to be able to let God into your life in that way. Because God's source emanated all of creation, and all provision comes from God. So if you're like, well, I need a better job, where does that money come from? It comes from God. Maybe it comes from that job place, but where does that, it comes from God. How did you get that job opportunity? God brought it in. Well, I need more clients. God aligns you with them. God brings money to your clients, who can then bring money to you, and you circulate it back to them through the energetic stream, and then that opens them up to receive more. It's a movement. It's a flow. And when your heart is in it, and you're serving, and you're really you're breaking free of all of the chains, and this is part of divine feminine reclamation, is breaking the chains and the mind control that you're not going to be provided for in your mission, that you have to suffer. This is about breaking martyrdom programs, and that in order to be on mission, it means I have to be a martyr, and I have to suffer, and I have to rough it. And I get it, because I had those things. They were very deeply a part of my, how do I say this? They were deeply a part of my programming, that I felt that was just what it had to be. But as I came into my power more, and I recognized I actually don't need to be a martyr, I can absolutely do my mission, serve more, and receive all kinds of beautiful abundance around my mission to provide for me. And that's exactly what's happened as I began to really heal that relationship with provision, and healing the relationship with the masculine. So a big part of divine feminine reclamation and reclaiming your organic abundance and attuning to that stream is healing your provision connection with the Holy Father, with Christ. And allowing the true Father energy, the true Christ energy, the divine masculine energy to hold you, hold the structure, and provide for you, right? Yes, that was one of my first thoughts when you came on, that I have thought it had to be rough for my mission. Yeah, and that's a very deeply programmed thing, especially for, a lot of us who have been in other timelines, who were, martyrs, and it had to be rough, and all of these things had to occur in order for us to actually be of service. And I'm here to break that. Sanctuary of Sophia has stepped into the era of ease this year. I've been going through and doing all of this work for the Sophianic Grail lines over especially the last year and a half of being on the road, and seeing all the things in the grid around suffering and poverty and homelessness and degradation. I've seen so much of that. I've witnessed so much of it. I've done so much grid work. I've literally been on the streets with more homeless people, with more people who are in poverty than I ever have in my entire life over the last year. And it was because I was meant to heal and experience what was actually happening, and understand the programming, and understand the harvesting that's happening. And so I'm here to tell you today that organic abundance is a very real frequency. And when you devote yourself to God and divine will, when you know and you claim your path, I am here for a mission. I'm here for a deeper purpose. I know I'm meant to share my soul's gifts with the world. I know I'm meant to lead in a way that's true and aligned for me, that lights up my soul, that I get to use my gifts in the way that God designed me, and I get to enjoy it, and I get to receive everything I need and more in order to bring that to life. That's what I'm inviting you into. That is the space that I'm in, that I want to invite you into, that you can leave all that stuff at the door, right? And really open yourself up and increase your capacity to receive your abundance through an organic way, where it's not going to crash out, and it's not going to, bring you into some place you don't want to be. That's the medicine stream here that we're working with, where you can relax, because God's going to provide everything that you need. And a big part of this is healing all the times where you felt you didn't have what you needed. And it's about taking self-responsibility and understanding that this was a part of your initiation, that was a part of your initiation and a part of the medicine you hold that you're going to be able to share with others. I understand what it feels like to not have felt abundant in my mission, to not have felt provided for my mission. And it was because I was carrying martyrdom codes. It was because I was carrying a lot of ancestral miasma, unprocessed pain. It was because my leadership wasn't fully activated and turned on, because I was being initiated into it, because I was healing things and I was breaking free of it. And a big reason of why I went through all of those really deep things is because part of my mission is to support women like you who are here with a deeper mission, with a deeper purpose, and who are meant to really grow in their leadership and to receive organic abundance because of that, where all of the things that you're praying for just start to come in really miraculous ways, in ways that you never imagined, where divine connections happen and gifts and blessings are bestowed upon you. And so when you can begin to attune to this and give gratitude, stay in gratitude when these things happen, when a blessing, when an answered prayer happens, right? I was just chatting with a client of mine who shared, I led a class today in a container that I'm holding, and she shared with me that all of these prayers and miracles have been answered just at the end of our call. And we were talking about these miracle frequencies and what happens when you begin to like really trust and surrender and know that all these things are available if you can just begin to really open up and receive. And that's part of the feminine experience. Yeah. So God was guiding me to just bring this message forward today, to speak about this, because there are a lot of women right now who are being called forward to begin to access this and to begin to step out and collapse out the old paradigm and to really step into full Sophionic divine feminine leadership from a place of power to bring their missions, their visions to life, how they want to create in the world, how they want to experience life, how they want to receive provision, and how they want to serve and give, because it's a beautiful energy flow. And the more that you can relax and receive, the more you're able to serve, and in a way that feels really good, not from a place of being drained, right? And trusting that the organic abundance is always flowing to you, coming in and releasing, and I can feel it now, it's like releasing any hooks or binds that are on your womb as well. Because if you've got things going on in your womb that are suppressing your creation and your magnetization, that's also going to impact your ability to receive, to birth your creations and then to receive abundantly for it. And so that's why womb sovereignty is such a strong pillar of divine feminine reclamation, because reclaiming and healing your womb is a huge part of that. So I invite you to feel into, what does my organic abundance stream feel like? How would it feel for you to connect in with God and ask God to clear your field of anything that is holding you back from receiving your organic abundance stream? I invite you to feel into that prayer and to see what happens, to see what becomes illuminated to you. And to know, feeling that energy, that holy fire in your heart, that I know that when I fully go for it, when I fully say yes to my mission, when I claim my power, my leadership, when I reclaim my womb, when I say yes to God's divine will for me, for the highest path that I am here to walk, the highest embodiment of who I am, of me in my power, right? Of you in your power, right? Like saying this to God, like, I know this is available. And knowing that and feeling that, because it is. It absolutely is. And it doesn't matter what's happened in the past. It doesn't matter, because it starts right now. It starts right now. You can shift so quickly. It's in the subtle choice points where you shift and everything changes. Where you shift and everything changes around how you receive. And God will bless you abundantly when you are open to receiving the instructions around what's next, what leap, what's the piece of faith. A big part of organic abundance is faith. A huge part of it is trusting and having faith. And the deeper your faith, the easier it is to hold that energy. Even when your 3D world's like, what's going on right now? When you hold that faith, you allow it to come in. You allow it to come in so strongly. And so the medicine of truth, the medicine of faith, the medicine of trust, all of these medicines, all of these streams of energy of what will support you in truly being able to receive and hold organic abundance, because you got to be able to hold it. If it feels too good to be true to your nervous system, it's like, whoa. It brings up a lot of things like, whoa, that was so easy. Am I worthy of that? Can it be this easy? Yes, it can. And part of it being that easy is releasing all the things that say it's got to be hard, and that you got to suffer, and it's got to be a struggle. Part of that is releasing all of that. Releasing all of the tricky, sticky things around abundance. So I trust that this has served you. Please let me know how it landed for you. Please let me know what you're being guided to feel into around this. I would love to hear from you. And I'm just seeing if there's any final more pieces that want to come in that would serve our group. Yeah, a prayer. I'm just going to bring through a prayer for our group. Beloved God, I pray for every sister in this space to begin to be able to receive access to her organic abundance stream through the medicine of faith and trust and devotion. God, I pray for every sister to have a miracle breakthrough with her organic abundance stream, for her to be able to access the frequency, to amplify her faith and trust and belief in what is possible for her. Thank you, God. And so it is. And so watch this prayer miracle energy move through your life. I invite you to feel into that, of what organic abundance means to you and how it's shown up and reflected the ways that you've been blessed abundantly, and giving gratitude for that, right? And so these are the medicine streams. These are the kind of conversations and things that I'm going to be having with women inside the Sacred Return, which begins tomorrow. I'm so excited about it. It's my 3-week medicine mind container for women who are being called in to their divine feminine leadership, who are ready to really weave more deeply with their womb and their heart, to bring their vision, their mission to life, and to really attune to their organic abundance and be able to birth what they are visioning and birth that new version of themselves. And I'm going to be midwifing all of us inside the container, and I'm so honored to hold it. We have an incredible group of women. We have 9 women in the space right now who are incredibly powerful women. The conversations in the space are going to be absolute fire. And so if you're feeling called to join us, I'd love to invite you to reach out to me so we can chat. The container starts tomorrow, and it's going to be held in Telegram, and it's going to be a very interactive medicine mind. So each week I'm going to bring through a weekly audio transmission that's going to speak into Sophionic leadership, that's going to speak into how to be able to listen to your womb and your heart, how to be able to trust that medicine that's arriving, and how to continue to attune to the organic abundance and heal that connection with God, so that way you may fully step into that leadership from a place of power and trust. And then also in the medicine mind, I'm going to be offering personalized shamanic mentorship support, which is going to be really powerful, as you'll be able to ask me any questions around your process. So a lot of times, if we're doing a session or something, unless you're in a private container with me, it's like the continued support, right? And anytime you receive an activation or you have a breakthrough around something, right? And all of the things that come after that, we're going to be able to receive that personalized support in the container. And this is going to be really powerful because not only will you receive personalized, intuitive support from me around what's going on in your process for me to help midwife you through it, through the birthing process as you rebirth yourself, but you're going to be able to receive all of the medicine coming in for other sisters as well, which this experience, while it's an individual process, it's also a collective sisterhood experience, which means that not only are we receiving in our own, experience, but there's a collective womb pulse of the sisterhood. And so there are themes that we're all weaving together on. And so I'm going to be bringing through song healing support to be able to heal your womb and your heart and your light body, receiving these beautiful songs to support you in your light body restoration and activation that's happening throughout the space as well. And then this Saturday, I'm going to be holding a live activation from the Badlands with White Buffalo Calf Woman, Sophianic Grail Queen. I'm going to be there. I'm arriving in the Black Hills on Wednesday, and I'm going to be working with White Buffalo Calf Woman over those days, working with the grids, connecting in, and I'm going to be bringing forward this Grail Queen leadership activation on Saturday. This is going to be held on Zoom, so it's a great opportunity for us to come together as well in circle and receive this experience. And what this is going to do is a leadership template activation like this is going to completely open you up to receive your highest path of service and devotion. And it's going to open the pathway up so you can actually receive the instruction sets of what it looks like for you while you're in your Grail Queen leadership, when you are anchored in your medicine and in your leadership. And you're going to be able to access those codes in a way that you never have before. So it's an embodiment piece. This leadership template that I'm going to be retrieving for us from the Badlands, it's unlike anything I've ever experienced before, what White Buffalo Calf Woman has been previewing to me. And it's part of the sacred return because I started doing this work with her last year when she called me into my own leadership. And I've been on this journey living full-time in an RV, working the grids for over a year now, journeying with all of these different energies, seeing all these things, and I'm coming back through now in a place where I'm going to be able to retrieve this activation for you and for our sisterhood and for the Grail, to really allow each and every one of you to rise up in your leadership and to access the parts of you that you haven't been able to access yet. And so this is really going to transform your relationship with yourself, how you see yourself, how you connect with your womb and your heart, and how you lead yourself moving forward, which, as we know, when you lead yourself, how you lead yourself through an experience like this is just a preview of how you're going to lead yourself through the coming weeks and months. And so if you're feeling called to join us, I would love to invite you into the Sacred Return. The cost is $333. And if you'd like to upgrade to a VIP, which includes a one-to-one private session with me, the cost is $555. And you actually end up saving $111 off a private session with me, which is usually only something I offer to women who journey with me for longer amounts of time, like in my longer 3 and 4 month containers. But I'm offering that here because God guided me to offer it, and I feel like I want to extend that out for the woman who's ready to go even deeper. And the beautiful thing is about this type of space is when we're already journeying inside a container and then we go into a one-to-one session, it becomes even more powerful because I already know what's going on in your process. I know what you've been working on. I know what you've been clearing. I know what's been activating for you. And then that just allows us to go even more deeply into the one-to-one session. So if you're feeling the call and you're ready to join us, we start tomorrow. Send me a DM. I can send you the next steps. And I also am offering payment plans as well for this container. So payment plans are available as well if you're feeling the call and that feels more aligned and more easeful to your nervous system of where you're at right now in your abundance journey. So thank you so much for being here. I'm deeply honored to hold this space and to witness you in your journey. And I look forward to seeing you soon. And again, feel free to reach out to me if you're being called into the Sacred Return. I'll be available tonight and we start tomorrow. Okay, sisters, see you soon.